This is an absolutely devastating decision by the federal Liberal government to remove this money from the Aboriginal Legal Service. This isn't just an Aboriginal community issue, this is an issue that will really concern many Tasmanians across the entire state. We're going to have here a Victorian legal service come into Tasmania and have to begin from the very beginning. This is an attack. This is an attack on the Tasmanian Aboriginal Centre, and what we're seeing here is Tony Abbott trying to muzzle this community by removing funding to its Aboriginal legal service, a fundamental part of what the TAC provides for the Aboriginal community.
The Palawa community in Tasmania is a self-determining community, and it has the right to non-discrimination. These are principles in the Declaration of Indigenous Rights that the Attorney General's Department has on his website and that they adhere to.
It is shameful for Wayne Muir to try and think that he can come into our country and to do our business. He needs to look in the mirror.
The reality is I suspect we will find Tasmanian Aboriginal peoples reluctant to use the new Victorian service. What that will mean is they'll become unrepresented in our courts. That will have direct results like increased rates of incarceration. As I understand it, the Tasmanian Aboriginal community is a very distinct, very separate community with separate values. It is hard to imagine that the community is going to want to engage with a Victorian-based service, but the reality is by then the damage is done. There are very experienced, very well-regarded Tasmanian lawyers in the Aboriginal legal service, one of them with over 30 years experience. They're going to be replaced with lawyers of 1, 2, 3 years experience. It is clear that this decision has been made very much on the run. It's been made without proper consideration and certainly without any consultation.
It's been a functional system because, one, it was controlled by the Aboriginal community through the structure of the TAC, which we set up in 1972 and survives today. The second reason why it's been so strong is because of the Aboriginal field workers. It was the field officers who held us together. This runs against everything that the High Court said in Mabo. It runs against what was acknowledged in Mabo. So you just don't buy it by sending in lawyers, and you don't have the community controlling or setting the policies. How are you going to get outsiders just to wander in and sort of pick that up? You can't.
This is one of the most disrespectful decisions ever to come out of Canberra. It absolutely beggars belief that George Brandis would make a decision to award advocacy for Aboriginal Tasmanians in our legal system to the Victorian Aboriginal Legal Service. It makes no sense. This is a key access to justice issue. And the bottom line here is that the Premier could fix this. The Premier could be on the phone either to the Prime Minister or to the Attorney General and say, hey, you need to reverse this decision and you need to reverse it quickly. This serious problem for Aboriginal Tasmanians is fixable.